Are you serious? Are you serious? I'm serious. Breaking news. Breaking news. I'm excited about the breaking news. Scientific results that have happened to me. Okay. I have lost 66 pounds. I just got a clean bill of health from my doctor. Matter of fact, it was the greatest lab results ever. I'm no longer a diabetic. This is incredible. I mean, 30 years, it's gone. My blood pressure medicine, no more metformin. No, I don't need the little sensor. No more. Don't need it. Don't need it. And my blood pressure had 2 different pills. One's gone. Energy, high level. It's scientific. It's amazing. But what is the secret? Look behind me, C60 EVO, and joining me right now to help you understand that is Chris and Patty. Are you serious?
God, are you serious? 66 pounds?
66 pounds on this journey.
And a trash can with pills you don't need anymore?
Don't need them. Take a swig.
That is some serious results.
Yeah. Just take a swig. Start the jig, because I'm telling you, you're just going to feel so good. Yeah, it is great results. And I mean, my doctor was just like so shocked. And I mean, he had been watching the progression, but I hadn't been in there in 6 months. So when I went in there, I'd lost 28 pounds since the last time I was there.
Wow.
And then he said, you look great. And then when I said, pull up my labs. I want to know, because I didn't know what my labs were either. I went and had them done, He pulls them up, prints them out, brings them to me and says, you got to be kidding me. This is unbelievable. You're no longer a diabetic. That diagnosis is going away today. Wow. You don't need metformin no more. You don't need anything no more. I said, well, I still got C60 EVO. Here we go. So guys, I just got to ask, Chris, you're the scientist on this. Is this possible? I mean, is this possible?
Okay, so this is in a sense, and I know you're not doing this on purpose. In a sense, this is kind of like an FDA trap, right? It's one of the things that is the reality of this product is we get testimonials that are so powerful as it relates to our product that we can't share them. Right. So everything you've talked about was kind of general visit to the practitioner right. And just what's going on. Right. Clearly, you've lost some weight. Congratulations. That's amazing. That's a tough personal journey. Yeah. Cheers to that. I'm glad that we were a part of that. But all of that, I do think has there are some reasons that you could believe that our molecule would support that. The ESS60 molecule would support that.
Absolutely.
And we can get into it. I've got a little presentation, and you don't have to jump into it yet. But I guess the short answer is yes, and we're not making any claims.
Okay, so another thing, Patty, this is fair. During this journey, yes, I've been taking the swig every day, or the pill sometimes, of the C60 EVO, but also I've worked on my diet. Obviously, I changed my diet. I totally took a new approach towards my own health, but I included this in that. So there's something there. I don't care what anybody says. There's an energy kick. I sleep better at night. I get up in the morning. It's just higher energy. It's got to be a part of this. And I know you've experienced some of this, Patty. I mean, so can you give us some testimonials, or is there other people have told you things?
I've heard from head to toe amazing testimonials, and but I'm the walking testimonial. Me and my almost 97-year-old mom. Chris does the science, I do the personal, because I've got so much to talk about. Why did Chris meet me? Because a jerk in Boulder, Colorado put uranium in my garage to get rid of me.
That's crazy.
That was effort number 3, and I used to be a UFO speaker, so of course I threatened the insecure little boys that were wanting to whatever, and I kept winning all these beautiful trophies for my movies, and they just got mad. So the uranium was like, seriously, I just left the UFO field. I really was very green. I thought I was making movies about crop circles to deliver this incredible science to the world. And I had no idea there were such illegitimate people in the field. That's all I'm going to say. But boy, I really upset them by telling the truth. And that's something I don't know anything but to tell the truth. And I'm a little too direct sometimes, but my movies were perfectly direct. And I actually discovered the science, and I was the only filmmaker that ever told the truth about what's going on in crop circles and where they're actually coming from, because the world never knew the truth. So it took me 8 movies, but I finally learned that they're coming out of the earth in spinning vortices of plasma, like this mind-boggling science. And then Chris and I started doing shows this year where we finally took on your show, your audience, into our lab, where I saw him spin the plasma fields counter-rotating. And I went, wait, stop. I've been with you 5 years and I never knew this. You're doing the same technology as 0-point energy, free energy, crop circle deliveries, perhaps spaceship technology, counter-rotating spinning vortices of plasma. Like what? And that's how I went, wow, my life has not changed a whole lot. It's just new scientists, new research, new study. But it's all about ascension. Ultimately, it's about how can we take ourselves from here to here. And when we live in a world filled with chemtrails, fluoride in the water, stupid stuff in the food, stupid people leading things in the past, we are the effect of those efforts. And for me, I probably wouldn't be here, certainly not after the uranium, because that was 25 pounds gone. I was starting to faint. And I just got out of the house, started to detox. But what saved me was C60 Evo. So when you say, are you serious? For me, it's, 66 pounds is massive. Getting off meds is massive. For me, waking up every day going, oh, I'm still alive, knock on wood, that's massive. So for me, it's about survival. And mine's been worse than most people because most people don't push buttons like I used to as a whistleblower. I'm still kind of a whistleblower and I can't get enough news, but I have the perfect remedy every morning. This, a spoon, and that's my tool belt. I used to carry, hammers, screwdrivers, pliers. Now I carry this and a spoon. But I do have my own tool belt, and this is really all I need. So when I lived, survived, and got my brain back, I was like, okay, I'm staring at the bottle going, are you serious? Like, why am I still alive?
That's right.
And then Chris and I started talking, and when they realized I was the reason they were getting all these phone calls, because I was raving about them on all my UFO interviews, we got together very quickly and created C60 Evo, taking the industrial industry of C60, which is for tires, ink, batteries. We evolved it to C60 Evo with the evolution from industrial grade, which they still sell for tires, ink, batteries. But we moved it into a cleaner processing, and now we sell only ESS 60, elemental safe spheres with 60 carbon atoms, a very clean version, good enough for people and pets to take daily, mind-boggling results, yours and mine.
It's amazing. It is amazing. And I guess for the audience, we probably should let Chris come in, and he's got a great presentation on how this works, the scientific part of it. Remember, the laboratory where this was discovered won a Nobel Prize, scientific discovery on this great technology. So, Chris, let's do this. Here you go. All right.
Before I get started, I don't know if you're in a position to. I'm going to take a little swig here, a little shot.
Oh, I'm in a position to do this at all.
I'm in a position to. Cheers.
Cheers.
I swish it in my teeth also, because my gums are no longer receding. Like pretty much anything you stick it on is going to get better.
All right.
That seems true. All right. So yeah, let's jump in. So the first slide is, what are we talking about? We're talking about this, and I'll probably have to go forward. We're talking about this ESS 60 molecule. It was discovered in 1985 at Rice University, which is here in Houston. That's where we're based. The scientists, these are the 3 scientists, Dr. Smalley, Dr. Curl, and Dr. Croto, who discovered the molecule, were actually awarded the Nobel Prize in 1996. Our lab started manufacturing it in 1991, so a full 5 years before they were awarded the Nobel Prize. I'm not a very braggadocious person, but the farthest I will go is to say it's not unreasonable to suggest that the fact that we were delivering commercial quantities of this carbon nanomaterial was the reason scientists had it so that they could do experiments with it and realize how amazing the molecule was so that they ultimately won the Nobel Prize. So that's not unreasonable to suggest. I'm going to talk about how it works first, and then we'll get into the results in the original study that kind of launched this from that industrial, and we think of C60 as the industrial space to ESS60 in the health and wellness space. The theory is the BOSS theory, buffering oxidative stress system. These are pictures of different kind of types of mitochondria or mitochondria under different stress levels. So the mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell. There's between 50 and 5,000 mitochondria in every cell in your body, except for your blood cells, which have 0, and your brain and neurons, which have 2 million. It is amazing how much energy our nervous system uses relative to our other systems. Like any power source, there is a negative byproduct. You think about your car going down the road, it's got exhaust. You think about a power plant, it's got a smokestack with smoke coming out of it. In the case of mitochondria, it produces reactive oxygen species, right? And here we show bonded or unbonded. I like to think of reactive oxygen species, if they're unbonded, like little bumper cars. Everything that they go in your body and they bump into, they're causing rust, oxidative stress, oxidative damage. And internal to your mitochondria, you have glutathione and melatonin. You can see those here bonded to those reactive oxygen species, so they can't do any damage. So they're nice.
Now, those are natural. Those, right?
Yes.
Melatonin and what's that?
Glutathione. Yeah, they're key antioxidants. And actually interesting to stop here, because melatonin is the sleep hormone. Our most consistent testimonial is people take the product in the morning, report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. You got, okay, here we are operating in the mitochondria right next to the sleep hormone melatonin. Pretty fantastic, right?
Yep.
So this is a healthy mitochondria. It's producing the reactive oxygen species. They're being managed. But what happens when you stress a mitochondria? And the first question is like, well, how do you stress a mitochondria? I like to point out, you're alive in modern society. You have stressed mitochondria, right? Whether it's EMF radiation with your cell phone, you can't get away from that. Whether it's kind of the light, unnatural light that's coming off of all of your devices. If it's smoking, drinking, if it's smog, pollution, EMF radiation from an airplane, like tough conversations, like you have a stressed mitochondria if you're alive in modern society.
Okay.
And that's when your mitochondria start producing more reactive oxygen species than can be managed. So you can see in this one, there's still some of the reactive oxygen species that are managed, but the ones that are not managed, they run around like little bumper cars, causing that oxidative stress and oxidative damage. And that's where the ESS60 molecule comes in. We do know from peer-reviewed published research that this ESS60 molecule gets into the mitochondria. We also know from way back in the 90s when it was discovered, it can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles. So we believe it's holding on to those negatively charged particles so they can't run around and do damage. And then when your mitochondria kind of naturally makes more glutathione and more melatonin, then that glutathione and melatonin then will bond to these unbonded reactive oxygen species, turn them into the blue ones, and then you've never experienced the damage of those bumper cars because the ESS60 molecule prevented them from doing that damage.
Wow. So that, and this is, because see, this molecule is, which has been created, now put into the mitochondria portion of the cell, the cell. So it's getting it right into the center of the cell, right into the nuclei of the cell, really, and is controlling the free radical. What do you call those things again?
Damage, reactive oxygen species. Yeah.
And what's it? Does it heal them, or does it just manage them or control them and keep them from going crazy? What does it do?
We think it's more like, I've got a good analogy for you. So I like to think of us, but by the way, stress is good. We're always under some sort of stress. It's just too much stress is the problem. If you have any doubts about that, when astronauts come back from space, right, without the stress of gravity, their bone density has declined, their immune system is compromised, they're dumpster fires of health when they come back. But I like to picture us like a prairie with beautiful prairie grasses and prairie flowers. And that gentle rain is the appropriate amount of stress because you need that stress. No rain, no prairie flowers, right?
Yep.
But what happens when you have this deep, dark cloud of stress pouring water in one particular spot? That's going to impinge on the prairie. It's going to cause a mud hole. It's going to do damage. And that's where we think this ESS60 molecule comes in. I like to picture it like a sponge between that deep, dark cloud and that prairie, collecting that stream of stress. Now, it is important to notice or to note that if you don't ever manage that dark cloud and you just continue to be in a stressed state, eventually that sponge is going to fill up and start impinging on the ground again. So you want to manage that. But once you manage it and that deep, dark cloud goes away, this sponge, I kind of picture you can squeeze it across the prairie and gently get that water back on the prairie without having experienced any damage. And that's kind of the broader picture. Fundamentally, we believe we're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, and with stress in every cell in your body, when you reduce the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, you should have systemic testimonials. You should have what we have, which are head to toe testimonials about this, the amazing results.
It's extraordinary. I'm bringing Patty back. Is there more slides? You got more slides here, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if Patty might want to jump in because she usually has some good stuff to add.
Well, I like to do the generic version, which is for people that don't understand the big words of science. Basically, what Chris is saying is you put it on a spoon, you stick it in your mouth, and you're detoxing the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of every cell. And when people don't realize the mitochondria, the importance of it, there's 2 million mitochondria per cell in your brain. Now, when you start detoxing your brain, you're going to get your clarity back, your mental focus, perhaps your memory. That's what Evo kind of majors in, is clearing that. But not only the brain, we've also got the pineal gland, which is totally deteriorating from all these toxins that we're taking in every day. So when you've got a calcified pineal gland and a brain that's like full of toxins, when you start taking this, all of a sudden you realize you start feeling different. You can raise your frequency more and your vibration to be back with your higher self. And that's the simpleton version of describing the mitochondria. So the brain has the most. The rest of the body has 50 to 5,000 per cell, other than the blood, which has none. So you've got a lot going on in the brain, which helps you sleep better, think clearly, and remember to do things. Very important. So that's what Evo is for, in my opinion. Okay, back to science. Big words.
Good. Okay.
So what I've got here is just to jump in. There was a study where the rats lived 90% longer. It was published in 2012, mid 2012. Right. We kind of covered why this would have these impacts. Here's the impacts it had in that original study. First off, the test subjects that were given the ESS60 molecule dissolved in olive oil, they didn't die earlier. Remember, it was a toxicity study. They thought they were going to die earlier. In fact, they lived 90% longer than the control group, so out to 62 months. There is a tumor implication. So none of the rats that lived out 62 months had tumors. I'm going to talk about that. And then there was actually a toxicity protection, an oxidative stress protection component on the liver. So we'll talk about that. The first and kind of dominant one is these rats lived 90% longer than the control group. And, if anything was ever true, this group, so there were 3 groups, right? One group was given water, that's the control group. One was given olive oil, that's a semi-control group. And then one was given the ESS60 molecule with olive oil. That's the kind of really fantastic result. A typical Wistar rat lives out 32 months. The rats given olive oil actually lived 38 months. And then the ESS60 rats lived out to 62 months, almost double. So
the olive oil ones lived about from 30, the regular rats, normal rats, 32 months.
Yep.
Just olive oil alone went to 38 months.
Yep.
But when you interject the ESS60 molecule into this, we're talking 62 months and no tumors.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that. This is, again, scientific results. And what's the common denominator here? The only thing that's different is ESS 60. That's
Yep.
the only thing different. No different food, no different temperatures, no different environment. Same place, same lab, same type of rats. Massive results. This is incredible. No wonder I lost 66 pounds. No wonder I mean, literally perfect labs. First time ever. Cholesterol is even good. Everything's been everything. So could it be that I have hit this trail? I'm not running with that rat, but maybe I'm going to outpace that rat. Maybe have I glided into this other plane? Have we moved into another level here? Maybe. Chris?
Yeah, well, I'll share. Yeah, like right on that kind of topic. We have a 2-time U.S. ultra running champion. The way he describes this product is it could be the difference between having running as a hobby and having running as a career, right? That is a different trajectory. And that is kind of the testimonials that we're getting in this particular case.
Here's a question in the chat room right now, live on the air. Robin's asking, says, how long do you have to take it to see results?
I'm going to hop right there. I've got this slide at the end. We've got other cool stuff to talk about, but this is a great time to jump in.
Okay.
We think about our product as a 3-month journey, and it has very specific parallels with our most consistent testimonial of people taking it in the morning, reporting mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. Month 1, we think about energy and focus. And the testimonial I lean on here, we got some product to a lady who was going to put together a video for us. She recorded the video that evening after she tried the product and pointed out that, or had noticed that she didn't finish her cup of coffee that day. Now, if you're a coffee drinker, right, the fact that you didn't finish it is a big deal. The fact that you noticed you didn't finish it is also a big deal. And I'll share, I used to be a 2 to 3 cup of coffee per day person. Now I'm more like a half to a 1 cup, and it's mostly ritual, right? I come to the office, I make my cup of coffee, I drink some of it. Sometimes I throw it away. But I used to be a 2 to 3 cup of coffee per day person. There are also some weight loss benefits, potential. If you replace saturated fats with a high quality fat like olive oil, you will have some fat loss benefits. And then we start thinking month 2 about this deeper sleep. I think it folds into month 2 because everybody has a little bit more or less sleep every night, right? And it can be hard to identify, hey, I started taking ESS 60 on this day and I kind of noticed my sleep. It takes some time for that to really lock in. And so sleep is the thing that we start to notice in month 2. I like to share, my business coach says that for 50 years, he needed an alarm clock. When he started taking the C60 Evo product, he started waking up before the alarm clock. This is like, oh, I feel a little better or I don't. This is, I wake up before the alarm clock. I love these kind of A-B situations. And I like to point out, he's a business coach, right? So he has late night mixers. He's got business dinners. None of that matters. Except if he doesn't get the product for about 10 days, then he has to start using the alarm clock again. And that coincides with the data in the literature. This clears out of your system in about 10 days.
10 days.
And then month 3 is, frankly, a lot of the testimonials that we get at month 3 are things that we can't share, right? Like the FDA needs us to do more research, and we're actually working to do that research in order to be able to make the claims. But think about it. If you're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, and you have stressed mitochondria between 50 and 5,000 in every cell in your body, except for your brain cells, which have 2 million, then we should have these testimonials from head to toe about the benefits. I will share, my father-in-law was walking with a cane. At about the 3-month mark, he was able to set the cane down and walk. And so he was walking a lot farther. No surprise there. And so not because of our product, but because he was walking, he ended up losing weight. And then that just became this cycle of losing more weight and walking more. And that's the kind of systemic benefits people will share with us on month 3.
Wow.
I'm going to give a different answer as well as the scientific, which is almost everybody I know notices within an hour of the first time they take a spoonful, because all of a sudden they're energized. And days later, they always tell me, yeah, a lot of energy, but that's about it. And then my guitar player friend said, oh, wait a minute, it's not stiff anymore. And then starts going through, oh, my back's not hurting. Like we actually forget what used to harm us, or what used to hurt when it goes away. So I'm going to give the answer. It takes 3 months to get full benefits, but to notice it, I'm going to say within an hour, most people. But when I say most people, I mean most people that are conscious of their body and their mind. How do I feel? How am I thinking? Do I feel more clear? Because some people are so out of their body and busy that they don't really realize when things change. So 66 pounds, that's hard to notice, not notice. And I just lived through 2 hip replacements and amazed the doctors, amazed my dermatologist, who said, your stitches are incredible. And I had no pain after either surgery, which was ridiculous. But because I'm taking this and I've never ingested oil every day, putting this in my lines has lubricated all my joints. So I went 2 years longer than anybody I know, bone on bone, hips. And then I had it done and I was like, how could it not hurt? And my recovery has been remarkable, would be an understatement. So, we have to be mindful not to tell the truth about all the incredible testimonials. What a weird thing to say, that's a testimonial right there.
Yeah, I mean, you had to be mindful not to tell the truth. Okay,
Right.
in other words, got to be careful here. But
it's too good.
It's just too good. You can't deny the testimonials. I mean, you just got to let people at least say, "Hey, I was doing this, I'm doing that, and now this is the results." It's a part of it. I'm gonna say it's at least a part. But Chris, you've got more here to show us, so I'm gonna let's do that. Let me bring it into the fold somehow.
Yeah, and somebody in the comments mentioned, hey, sponsoring research. I did answer, we are starting clinical trials, and is it natural? So this is the kind of cool thing. Everyone in your audience, whether they've taken our product or not, has been exposed to this molecule. And what I'll offer as an example is if you collect the soot from a candle flame, right? So normally you would put a cold steel plate over a candle, and you would collect that deep, dark soot. That deep, dark soot has parts per million or parts per billion of the ESS60 molecule in it. So it is naturally occurring, and we have all been exposed to it. This piece is kind of fascinating. Carbon tetrachloride is an oxidative agent that typically attacks the liver. And so this was a separate group of rats, but the same kind of grouping, meaning one group was given water, the control group, one was given olive oil, semi-control group, and one was given olive oil with the ESS60 molecule. They injected these rats with carbon tetrachloride. They waited 24 hours. They euthanized the rats and then inspected their livers. As is typical with carbon tetrachloride, those water control rats given water showed no recovery, right? So they showed the necrosis. They showed the damage in the liver that is typical when they're injected with carbon tetrachloride. The ones given olive oil showed a little bit. And by the way, these are representations of the actual slides in the actual study. Very good representations. These are a little bit healthier. There were some marginal improvements. But when you got to the ESS60 rats, almost 100% recovery from that carbon tetrachloride. So as an antioxidant inside the liver, like that's a very strong indication of its power.
That's very impressive. So it's a mixture now. It's the ESS60 molecule mixed in olive oil. And that's it right there. And you can see the results in the lab scientific results. And there's no doubt about that. And here we go. Here it is, tumor-free.
It's not just olive oil. It's extra virgin cold pressed organic olive oil from one farm in Tunisia that we buy from direct, so that you don't have to question the olive oil. It is not your generic olive oil. It is spectacularly high quality, blended with the ESS60. 2 ingredients. That's it.
That's amazing. And I did not know that. So it comes out of a farm there in Indonesia.
Tunisia.
Excuse me, Tunisia. Yep. Tunisia.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Amazing. Okay, so I'm looking here at this ESS60 tumor-free Wistar rats. Talk to me about this.
Yeah, so a typical Wistar rat lives about 32 months, and that's what happened in this study, in the control group, right? That group given water. And they have a known amount of tumor mass in their bodies. The longer they live, the more tumor mass they end up with in their body. even though the C60 Evo rats lived out to 62 months, none of them had any tumors.
That's
So
great.
if you think about it, this curve should have continued and these rats should have had this much tumor mass, right? Significantly higher tumor mass. Instead, they had no tumors. And that's a fantastic result. Now, I've told this story to some people and they're like, oh, cure for cancer. And my response is no. And then I follow that with another no. There's a big difference between dealing with a cancer that has metastasized and being what is potentially a cancer preventative, right?
Right.
And we know things as simple as good nutrition, good exercise, good sleep can be cancer preventatives. I will share, there is one Petri dish study that is absolutely amazing, which is, and by the way, Petri dish studies are some of the lowest form, right? They're below anecdote, but this has powerful ramifications. So they took a Petri dish, they had healthy cells and cancer cells in the Petri dish. They introduced an anti-cancer agent. So basically, this is a poison. You're hoping to poison the cancer cells before the healthy cells. In the presence of the ESS60 molecule, when they added the anti-cancer agent, there was increased efficacy against the cancer cells and protective effects for the healthy cells. So basically, more cancer cells died, less healthy cells died. Now, if you might go, oh, well, what might the mechanism of action be? It is very clear that cancer uses a different energy source, tends to use sugar as its energy source. So it's, I'm going to scroll back here. So its mitochondria function different than healthy cells. And if we're here in the mitochondria, and we're reducing the negative impact of stress mitochondria, that could be, this is just a theory, but that could be the reason that it's having that outsized beneficial impact for the healthy cells and negative impact for the cancer cells.
This is incredible, incredible. And again, you can see the results. These are scientific results. This is why this lab, you guys actually in your lab started to create this great product, but you didn't even know you were creating such a great product until the other scientist guys, as you said in the beginning, did testing on it and showed the results of what it was. They got the Nobel Prize, and you've been doing it for 5 years. Tell us what this is. This is now an inflammatory age. What's going on?
Yeah, so this is there are these things called biological age tests, right? And they're very interesting to play with, but they do have some good indications for inflammation. What I'm going to start before we do this is my role as this molecule comes in and the study comes out kind of, well, I added. So I was the chief scientist of a carbon nanomaterial manufacturing business. Now I'm also the chief scientist of a health supplement business, and this is having a positive impact. And one of my roles was like, well, why might these rats have lived so much longer, 90% longer than the control group? And so I looked across the spectrum of the medical community, and they don't all agree, but they tend to think that aging is an oxidation and an inflammation process, right?
Okay.
So in terms of being an antioxidant, there's an ad hoc study showing our product to be 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. And then there's peer-reviewed published research showing it to be 125 times more powerful than vitamin C.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty impressive. I'm in Texas, so we put a big old check mark next to antioxidant. And when it comes to inflammation, you have to be really careful when you talk about inflammation, because the FDA equates conversations of inflammation with the diseases of inflammation, which are also the diseases of aging. So arthritis, cardiovascular disease, cancers, Alzheimer's, all of those diseases. So if I come on your show and I say, hey, we address inflammation, the FDA hears me saying we cure cancer or we cure cardiovascular disease, which is, we are not saying that.
Right.
There is so much research, and frankly, really expensive research that would need to go into in order to be able to make those claims. The FDA will allow us to say that we address inflammation related to exercise. So we've all, maybe had a tough workout or just walked farther than normal and felt that sense of inflammation in our bodies. The FDA allows us to say that we address that type of inflammation. So we're not allowed, as I just kind of indicated, to talk about inflammation, but we can talk about specific markers and specific tests. And I took 3 biological age tests. I'm going to go through those results. The first 2, I love the results. The last one, I didn't really like the results, but I liked the direction, and I'll tell you what I mean. So this is ESR. It stands for erythrocyte sedimentation rate. We don't have to, there'll be no quiz, so don't worry.
Thank you. I'd have to Google Translate to get that word out.
So basically you take a drop of blood and you put it in a capillary tube and you hold it vertically and expose it to gravity. And the rate that your plasma separates from your blood cells is an indication of your inflammation rate, right? What kind of overall inflammation do you have in your body? When I took this test, it had me 20 plus years younger biologically than my chronological age. Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. It will not surprise you, I was happy with this result. The next one, even better, right? So glycan age is looking at glycans. These are sugar molecules that attach to your cells in your bloodstream, and they attach in a particular predictable path that goes one direction as you age. In this case, and they're related to inflammation. At the end of the day, this is an inflammatory status. This is also related to inflammation. This particular test had me 34 years younger than my chronological age. So when I took this test, it had me at a biological age of 21. I like to joke, if you're biologically younger than 21, can you still have a beer? Like, is there illegal?
You're almost cannot, you got a legal limit here. You almost fell back.
Yeah.
You had to be, obviously with that much of a difference in your cells, you had to have been feeling better. You had to be feeling younger, more vibrant, more higher energy. You have to be, right?
Yeah. Well, think about the process you have just come through. And, you have a little bit more on your journey that you want to accomplish. But when you're focused on diet, when you're focused on exercise, often in the past, you were tired all the time.
Oh,
I was tired all the time, right? Because you're supposed to be at an energy imbalance to lose the fat. Like, that's how it's supposed to work. But with this product, I just haven't experienced that, right? And maybe you haven't either.
Wow. No. Wow.
And then the next test, I didn't really like the direction. The number, but I like the direction. So I took this test when I was 51. It had me at a biological age of 59. So 8 years older. I was like, I'm doing a lot of stuff. That's the right stuff. I feel great. Why this is I don't like this result. By the way, this is looking at epigenetic methylation. It's another type of biological age test. But I took that same test 3 years later, so at 54, and it had me at 58. So I regressed one biological year, even though chronologically 3 years had passed. That's a phenomenal result. I'm very excited about that direction.
Yeah, that's great. So and so obviously it's affecting the cells. The cells themselves, right?
Yeah, again, think about, if we go back to this mitochondria, if you're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, which there's between 50 and 5,000 in every cell in your body, or 2 million in your brain and neurons, then everything should be better. And really, this is everything that your body can and knows how to do. It should do what it knows how to do better.
I see. It's an enhancement, or we should say it could be. And it looks like it must be because of the results of the scientific studies.
Let's do some physical manifestation. Pull us back up.
Okay, give me a moment to grab it. There you go.
Let's just let Chris take his glasses off and let your audience guess how old he is. 3 guesses, and then we'll say it.
Yeah.
Okay. You can even guess how old I am. And we'll see if Evo is paying off, because you look different. When I saw you today, I'm like, what is he doing? Oh, Evo, duh.
Yeah.
Is anybody guessing ages?
First guess is 40.
Okay.
I like that number.
I like that number.
That's a great
I
number.
hope that was me, not you.
It is quite.
Wow.
Yeah. What's your age?
I'm 56.
56. Yeah, you do not look 56.
Looks good, huh?
Yeah.
I think people don't have the balls to guess my age because I'm older.
I want to be a little careful there.
Yeah.
But obviously,
I am 72.
You're amazing.
And I'm proud of it.
That's
but the main thing is I escaped death, and I did it 3 times. Uranium poisoning, mercury poisoning, and a directed energy hit. I took it straight. I have been through the mill, And I do want to mention something about the Petri dish study that Chris was talking about, and I'm bringing it back down to physical manifestation. When I was poisoned by Mr. Creepy, it was he left a vial of uranium in my garage, and I moved out of the house after I realized I'm down 25 pounds. I'm starting to faint. Something's real wrong. And so I moved away, got on the Evo, and started coming back, my brain. But in the last, this was 2019 when he poisoned me. And I will admit that my body was so toxified by the uranium that I was ready to start getting a lot of cancer. And I started ingesting this, and it's a strange thing to say, but I'm actually proud. I had 6 skin cancers on my left side only. Now, my left side was where the garage was. So I have no doubt that he caused this, but I've never had a skin cancer in my life. And every single time of those 6, I'd look at the doctor and say, thank you for removing it and throwing it away for me. And they're like, well, you're different. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pushing everything out of me because my body's going, mm-mm. But the funniest thing is, not very funny, 2 of them were deeper and I had to get a second surgery removal. And so they did the inside stitches outside, and they said the inside ones will melt within 10 days and you come back and we'll take the outside ones. So both of them chose not to melt in my system because I was all C60 evoed up. I actually had 2 spitting sutures, which means they balled up inside my skin and came through my skin. So everything that was uranium poisoned in me came out my friggin' skin.
It was
Even
pushing
the
it out.
sutures. This stuff is like, I kiss the bottle. I wake up, I kiss the bottle because I'm still here. I've got kids, grandkids, a world out there, a company to run, a world to see, because I might start traveling. I mean, I'm like feeling better again. And I got my hips replaced. Now I can run, walk, cartwheel. Well, I probably shouldn't. But I look out my eyes because my brain is so friggin' on fire. I keep thinking I'm 38 and I keep forgetting. Then I see my reflection and go, oh, 70s. So, it's an interesting conundrum.
You're as young as you feel.
Good. Well, then I'm 40.
There you go.
Yes, for me, I'm just taking it.
Now, take them to my homepage if you could, Chris.
Yeah,
and
we're there.
Let's throw that up there, and here it is. And let's take a look here, folks. If you go to the link, right, you see the ticker going by there. There it is, www.c60evo.com/Paul Begley. The savings are up to 20% this month if you go there and use the coupon, okay? Use that coupon code, which is EVP Begley. You can see it right there. It's right there. So you want to click on the link below the video. Right now, below the video in the description, it'll take you to www.c60evo.com/Paul Begley. And now, as you see the page, begin to look at the opportunities, the products. They'll scroll there. You'll see it. All of us took a swig of that right there. Okay. That's the Grand Slam product right there. No doubt about it. And you can scroll on down, but you've got some savings, I think, in some bulk purchases, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
What we're showing you is our top sellers, because a lot of people are like, where do I start? And, this really is only for people that want to feel and look better. So, if you're happy with your life and you feel great, and this is as young as you're going to be today, then maybe it's not your thing. But anybody that wants to lose weight, have more energy, sleep better, have more flexibility, bone on bone, muscle cramps. I'm not saying we can fix it. It's just a coincidence that we get testimonials from people that say, yikes, wow. And all I do is take a spoonful in the morning. It's like, it's all you do. It's the easiest thing. And literally a spoon and a bottle is all you need. You just need to remember to take it. But earlier this week, I went to make my morning coffee and I realized, my bottle's empty. And I just kept making the coffee. And I started to have my morning conversation with my mentor. And we were halfway in and I started forgetting words. And I was like, wow, this isn't like me. The word credential, I couldn't find it in my vocab. So I said, oh my gosh, I ran out of my Evo. Hold on, I got to go to the closet and get another bottle. I actually started noticing like the first day. So it's not like you fall apart if you stop taking it. You just really have a cleaner memory and concentration levels. So I'll say it really, really works. The top item to get is the olive oil right there. We have all different sizes. Right here, we're selling our 4-ounce. And if you buy 6 of them, you're going to get 20% off. If you buy 3 of them or 2 of them, you'll get more discounts also. But the 3 is a minimum that we recommend so that you can do the 3-month trial and really blow it out of the park, really impress yourself with the benefits. And if you forget a day or two, you're not going to fall apart. You just want to take it, and as often as you can, but don't take it later in the day unless you're going to be up late at night. Me personally, I take it before noon because it gives me so much energy all day long. If I take it at night, personally, I'll be up. Chris can take it at bedtime, cup of coffee, and he's good to sleep. So, we're all made of different stuff, but boy, you get this in your body every day, you're going to look and feel different. This is definitely going to make you look different. We created a facial serum with the ESS 60 and a couple of oils, and it has a base of chia seed oil because my formulator has written 20 plus books on raw foods. Walking through the forest, you can eat, drink, smoke, boil any plant to get some benefit from it. Genius. So we have her as a formulator, and all of our essences are wonderfully natural, and the scents are over the top wonderful. Plus the base of chia seed oil. She's in her 70s, and when I saw her to do the formula, I was like, what are you doing? Your skin looks amazing. And she said chia seed oil. So we got right on it. And that is in this product. I don't think I've ever seen it in a facial serum. And probably me talking about it, they'll start doing it. But we're the breakthrough company. And it's all natural, super clean, smells divine like rosemary oil. Put it on night and morning. Drink the oil in the morning. And if your friends and family don't notice, I'll be real surprised. So the guys at the lab, when I first announced that my skin is better, I used to ride a Harley with no windshield, and I took on 50,000 miles of wind in my face, and I probably looked like it back then. But I started, when I'd take my spoonful, I'd wipe the spoon off, I'd wipe the lip of the bottle, and I'd rub it in my hands and put it on my face, and my skin has totally come around. So I called Chris and I said, we got to do a face serum. And of course he said,
yay, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, why not? And it does smell great. It really
oh my God.
Yeah.
So all the guys in the lab were like, oh, seriously, we work with a girl now? It's like, yep. So finally they gave in. We made the formula. It's selling like crazy, constant reorders, constant subscriptions. So now the guys at the lab are all looking and smelling so much better and looking so much younger. So a year later, Chris calls me and he goes, I hope you don't get mad. And I'm like, why would I get mad? You're so perfect. Oh. And he said the guys and I at the lab are really liking the facial serum. So we just created a new one also adding peptides. And he found this UTH29 peptide that had 30 years of research. So the combination of UTH29 and ESS60, over the top. We had 2 face formulas. One is a 1 bottle. The reason this is 2 is because those poor guys at the lab had to deal with picky patty, no emulsifiers. Let's keep it clean. So they figured out a way for you to activate it in the palm of your hand with using 2 bottles. One is oil, one is lotion. And when you activate it fresh, you're going to put it on your face, then you're going to get great benefits. So this is our C60 Evo Youth Renew Duo. Chris loves to model it. Okay. 1 pump of the tall bottle, which is blue peptides, and 2 drops of the oil. And then he will take his glasses off. I hope he keeps his shirt on today. And he's freshly rubbing it together to activate. And when I met him, he was so wrinkled. Good God, he looked old. No, I'm kidding. But he definitely has better skin now. And we're all benefiting. But man, this stuff, I don't know if men or women buy it more, but it's no longer a women or man product. We sell everything to everyone. Yeah, I mean, it leaves you, really. a little bit of glow goes right in. And yeah, the guy's 56.
I mean, wow, does not look 56 at all. It's like you said, somebody said 40. Quite extraordinary. So what a great, so yeah, it's the combination is the key here is mixing the two. You have to mix the two. That's where the magic.
That inside your body. I mean, what you're doing is you're detoxing your inside and you're detoxing your outside. And yeah, all I can say is the guys at the lab are really lucky a girl joined them so that they could have all these wonderful, luscious products that, you know, people can see when you go out in public. It's like, you know, when we start talking about supplements, if we say our age, they're like, okay, what are you doing? You know, I think seeing is believing. And when people that are selling supplement products don't look very healthy or don't speak very clearly, that speaks for their product.
They're asking in the chat room, do you get a tan with this? In other words, if you use this and you go out in the sun, does it intensify the sun? That doesn't matter? Is there any results on that?
Yeah, we've investigated from an SPF protection perspective, and we actually didn't continue that research because if we were to start marketing SPF, then we have to become an over-the-counter facility. We're already a GMP facility, which is pretty easy for us, but we just didn't want to go through that process for one particular product.
GMP is good marketing practice.
That's
good manufacturing practice.
Good manufacturing. Sorry, I'm the marketer. You're the manufacturer.
Both. Maybe it's a little bit of both.
That's why I'm not at the lab and he is. I'm the marketer. So yeah, I do good marketing though.
You do. Well, folks, again, before we run out of time here, you got to go right now. Click on the link below the video. Go to www.c60evo.com/Paul Begley. You can save up to 20% this month. You can look at all the products. Obviously, if you bulk buy, you're going to get a better deal. And they've got it right there on the website. You'll see my picture. That's the old Paul Begley. That's the guy who was 66 pounds heavier. The new, the young, the vibrant one has got to be replaced on that screen, and it's going to happen. Don't worry. We'll get it before next month. So
yay.
I just want to say, Chris, Patty, again, thank you so much for explaining it, helping the people understand it, and displaying it, Patty. Beautiful. Okay. So thank you. And we hope to see you guys next month. All right.
Take care, everybody, and get younger.
That's right. And folks, I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Proof's in the pudding. That's all I can say. It certainly is an amazing product, and that's why I really like representing it. God bless all of you. Have a great, great day. And remember, get younger. Are you serious?